Hello friends, very good afternoon. Hi, this is Alok Oja. Welcome to StudyIQ IAS English. Today we are going to cover another important topic of modern Indian history series, and that is Swadeshi movement, which is the result of partition of Bengal and formation of the Muslim League. Correct? Before this, we have covered a lot many topics as a part of modern Indian history series, that is advent of Europeans, different governor generals, important charter act, education commission, peasant movements, revolt of 1857, role of press, and so on. Guys who are new to the platform, the question arises in the mind of every aspirant, sir, where to download the PDF of these sessions from? So one can download the PDF of the session from my Telegram channel, that is history_Alok Oja. Okay. So now let's begin with one of the most important sessions, that is partition of Bengal followed by Swadeshi movement. Now, before I begin with Swadeshi movement, let me tell about the role of Lord Curzon. And right from the very start, right from the start of modern India, I have told you two important aspects, guys. And what is that? Britishers have always followed two major policies in India. One is divide and rule policy, and the second one is carrot and stick policy. Now, what is divide and rule policy? In divide and rule policy, Britishers have played a card wherein they are trying to divide the Indian society on the basis of communal lines to hurt the communal fabric of the country. And carrot and stick policy, like yesterday we had seen that all India, Indian National Congress was formed on 28 December 1885. And Indian National Congress had two major ideological perspectives, moderates and extremists. So Britishers played another card, that is carrot and stick policy. For example, when during the Swadeshi movement, extremist leaders are more active during the movement, what did the Britishers do? They kept moderates on their side. How did they keep the moderates on their side? By offering bait of fresh reforms in the form of Morley-Minto reforms. And this is nothing but carrot and stick policy. Simple words, if you have to suppress one particular section of the society, herein you need to have the other section on your side. So Lord Curzon, he was a very infamous personality for his policy of divide and rule. And Lord Curzon, he came as a viceroy in India. Now, before becoming the viceroy, he had visited India 4 times initially. Correct? It is also believed that he was the youngest viceroy of India, and he became the viceroy at the age of 39. Just a second. He became the viceroy at the age of 39, and he visited India at least 4 times before becoming the viceroy, and he was succeeded by Lord Elgin. His original name is Lord George Curzon. Now, when Curzon came to India, like as I've told you, he was very infamous for his policy of divide and rule. So now, at that time, Bengal was a very big presidency, and it encompassed different regions of India, particularly West Bengal, East Bengal, certain parts of Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Odisha, and Assam. Now, Lord Curzon, he played a very diplomatic game. What diplomatic game did he play? Lord Curzon, it is believed that he divided Bengal he divided Bengal into 2 parts, or he announced the partition of Bengal into 2 parts, West Bengal and East Bengal. At that time, I'm giving you an approximate figure, the approximate population of Bengal at that time was 8 CR. And he said that I am dividing Bengal on administrative pretext, for administrative ease and convenience. This was the actual agenda that Lord Curzon portrayed. But what was the intrinsic agenda of dividing the Bengal? It is believed that Bengal was a big province. It was a very big presidency, and he divided the Bengal on communal lines. Because West Bengal was a Hindu majority province and East Bengal was a Muslim majority province, and he wanted to divide the Bengal on the pretext of communal lines, to hurt the communal fabric of the country, to break the Hindu-Muslim unity existing in our nation, and hence he announced the partition of Bengal. Like, I was reading one of the articles on internet. Basically, it is related to Lord Curzon. And this article was published in the Hindu newspaper as well. Like, it is believed that Lord Curzon, he has written an apology letter to the Maharaja of Travancore. A very beautiful incident. It goes like, he was again very infamous for his derogatory comments on Hinduism. Correct. So basically, in 1900, Lord Curzon visited the region of Travancore, and he was received by the Maharaja of Travancore. Like Travancore, it had accepted the subsidiary alliance system, which was initially started by Lord Wellesley. If you remember, guys, the subsidiary alliance system, where the Britishers would be called as the paramount power and the Indian states would be referred as the protected states. Isn't that so? Hundreds of kingdoms had accepted the subsidiary alliance system. One among them was Travancore. So Lord Curzon, he visited the region of Travancore, and he was being received by the Maharaja of Travancore. Now both of them were traveling in a horse-driven carriage. Now at a particular place, the horse was being stopped, the carriage was being stopped, and Maharaja, he came out of the carriage and bowed in front of the idol of Sri Padmanabha Swami temple. The idol was of Lord Vishnu, where he was resting on his snake, that is Sheshnag. Out of curiosity, Lord Curzon asked this person, Maharaja of Travancore, why are you bowing in front of the idol? He said that he is our deity and I am paying deep reverence to the deity. In that case, Curzon smiled and said, this is the place where the idols are fed. At this point of time, Maharaja of Travancore got very angry, but he still respected Lord Curzon. He dropped him at his place. Now, Lord Curzon had arranged a meeting in the town hall, and all the local Nawabs and Maharajas were being invited, including the Maharaja of Travancore. Maharaja of Travancore, he denied going to the meeting because you insult our deity. In that case, Lord Curzon, he got so angry that he told Maharaja that I will deprive you with all your powers. Correct? He said, I don't care about it. I have got whatever I have got just because of the blessings of Padmanabha Swami, that is Lord Vishnu, not because of the English East India Company or the Britishers. Finally, it is believed that Lord Curzon had to write an apology letter to Maharaja of Travancore, and then he participated in the meeting that was held at the town hall. So Lord Curzon, he is known for many such things. Lord Curzon, he is known for inclusion of Calcutta Corporation Act. What is Calcutta Corporation Act? In this, the number of elected members were reduced and the number of nominated members were being increased. Why nominated members were being increased? Because these nominated members were being nominated by the Britishers. Correct? Apart from this, he also declared, like Lord Curzon, he also declared British pound as a legal tender in India, which was equivalent to 15 rupees, 1/5. 1 pound is equal to 15 rupees. And when Lord Curzon came to India, almost the major part of southern India, central India and western India were under the grip of famine. And it took many steps to revive the condition of the peasants in this region. Correct? So there's another, again, a very interesting story that I've read about Lord Curzon. And that story is associated with a place which is referred as Nal Dehra. Have you heard about this place? Although this is a bit of out of the syllabus topic, but still there's a beautiful story associated with Nal Dehra. Have you heard about this place? Guys, if you remember one of the youngest Governor General, Lord Dalhousie. I've talked about Lord Dalhousie that he had made Shimla as the summer capital of India. Correct? So during the summer season, Lord Curzon used to visit the region of Shimla. And one fine day, just approximately around 20 kilometers from Shimla, he visited a place called as Nal Dehra. And he loved this place so much because it had, like, basically its beautiful mountains, apart from this beautiful meadows. So this place, like, he was quite fascinated by this place, Nal Dehra. And he used to spend his summer in the place called as Nal Dehra. It is believed that Lord Curzon constructed the first golf course of the Britishers at a place called as Nal Dehra, which is near Shimla. Correct? It is also believed that his one of the daughters, third daughter, her name is named after Nal Dehra. That is Alexandra Nal Dehra. So this is the additional information. But coming to the main point, It is believed that Lord Curzon, he followed the policy of divide and rule. And at that point of time, in 1905, Lord Curzon announced a partition of Bengal on the pretext that Bengal has become too big to be administered by a single viceroy. Correct? But as I've told you, what was the hidden agenda or the intrinsic agenda of the Britishers? To divide the Bengal on communal lines. West Bengal was a Hindu majority province and East Bengal was a Muslim majority province. At that time, Indian National Congress session was held in 1905 at a place called as Banaras. And the session was being presided by Gopal Krishna Gokhale ji, who is also referred one of the most important moderate leaders. Apart from this, he was also the political guru of Mahatma Gandhi. So, Gopal Krishna Gokhale at this particular point of time gave the call for Swadeshi movement against the partition of Bengal. And there were many different leaders who gave their inputs in the Swadeshi movement, like Lala Lajpat Rai ji, Sayyid Haidar Raza, Rabindranath Tagore ji, Ashwin Kumar Dutt, Anand Mohan Bose, Surendranath Banerjee, Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji, and many more. Correct? So what is Swadeshi movement all about? Let's understand. Swadeshi. Now before telling you about Swadeshi, if you remember, day before yesterday, we had studied economic impact of British rule in India. And here we have studied how the Britishers had paralyzed the rural economy, or they have played a very major role in deindustrialization of Indian industry through their mercantilist approach. Correct? So in that case, Swadeshi basically means now we are only going to use the goods which are produced in our own country, and we will boycott the goods which are being imported. In simple words, Swadeshi and boycott both are complementary to each other. Now, why both are complementary to each other? Because you are not going to adopt something until unless you boycott something. So this was a time for revival of indigenous industry. And the call for Swadeshi movement was given at Banaras session of 1905, presided by Gopal Krishna Gokhale ji. Now, it includes all kinds of boycott, like it is political and economic movement both. Why? Because here it is not only about the boycott of law courts, boycott of government schools and colleges. It also includes boycott of foreign clothes, boycott of foreign sugar and salt, boycott of foreign liquor. Correct? Apart from this, boycott of law courts and boycotts of government schools and colleges. And media played a very major role in sensitizing the masses against this anti-partition movement. Like it is believed that there were different leading newspapers of that time that played a very major role, such as Amrit Bazar Patrika. Apart from this, Bengali, Hindu Patriot, Indian Mirror, Sanjeevani, Bangbhasi. It played a very major role in sensitizing the masses. And as discussed earlier, media plays a very major role in sensitizing the masses. How? As we have seen in Revolt of 1857, that although Revolt of 1857 was just confined to the northern part of India, but people throughout India were sensitized. Why? Media. Whatever was happening in the northern part of India, people in southern part of India came to know about this. People in western part of India, central part of India, eastern part of India came to know about this. How? Through newspaper, magazine, pamphlets and journals. Similarly, these 5 to 6 newspapers played a very crucial role in sensitizing the masses, particularly in the region of Bengal. Correct? Now, these newspapers were Amrit Bazar Patrika, Sanjeevani, Bangbhasi, and so on. Amrit Bazar Patrika, in fact, it is believed that it visited the region of East Bengal and signed a petition with 1 lakh people against the partition of Bengal. At this point of time, Calcutta University was heavily criticized, and Calcutta University was referred as what? Ghulam Khana, factory of producing slaves. Why it was referred as Ghulam Khana? Students actively participated in the Swadeshi movement. Students completely boycotted government schools and colleges, and this era also saw the mushrooming up of national schools and colleges. Calcutta University was heavily criticized as Ghulam Khana. Why? Because there were many nationalist leaders who believed that basically there are many educated youth who take education from Calcutta University and start working for the Britishers. So basically these people work like gulams for the Britishers, like slaves for the Britishers. Hence Calcutta University was criticized as Ghulam Khana, or factory of producing slaves. This movement is also referred as Vande Mataram movement. And the streets were full of the slogans and the cry of Vande Mataram. And the movement particularly got spark from the region of Bengal. And the leading role was being played by Anand Mohan Bose and Surendranath Banerjee, particularly in the region of Bengal. Swadesh Bandhav Samiti of Ashwin Kumar Dutt also played a very major role in sensitizing the masses, particularly in the region of Bengal. Correct? Apart from this, Rabindranath Tagore ji, he focused on Atma Shakti. I repeat, he focused on Atma Shakti, which basically means self-reliance. Now, what is the meaning of the word self-reliance or Atma Shakti? Guys, as we have seen yesterday itself, that Indian National Congress was basically divided into two parts on the basis of ideological perspective: moderates and the extremists. And the working pattern or methodology of moderates and extremists were quite different. Like moderates believed in PPP, prayer, protest and petition. They said that we want independence, but not all of a sudden, but in a gradual step-by-step manner. Correct? And they wanted self-government. On the other hand, extremists, particularly, they believed in one important aspect. And what was that? They believed in one thing, that if we have to adopt extra constitutional means to gain independence, we are going to adopt this. So they did not believe in self-government, they believed in complete independence. And the major extremist leaders were Sher-e Punjab ji, that is Lala Lajpat Rai ji. Lokmanya Tilak, also referred as Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji. So these are the major extremist leaders. So particularly extremist leaders, although the movement was being started by a moderate leader, Gopal Krishna Gokhale ji, but there were many extremist leaders who played a very major role in making this movement pan-India. Correct? Because extremist leaders believed in one aspect. And what did they believe in? They believed particularly that one should rely on self for your own independence. Until and unless you are going to raise your own voice for your own independence, you will live the life of a slave throughout your life. Correct? So here, Rabindranath Tagore ji, although he was a neutral leader, he was a moderate leader, but he focused on Atma Shakti or self-reliance. The movement became quite famous in the region of Bengal, and the major role was being played by Bipin Chandra Pal. Apart from this, specifically, Anand Mohan Bose, Surendranath Banerjee, who is also referred as Indian Burke. Why is referred as Indian Burke? Because he was quite inspired by the philosophy of Edmund Burke. Hence, he is also referred as Indian Burke. Now, initially, what happened? Let me tell you what are the major causes for Surat split. Now, the seeds for Surat split were sown here itself. Why? I'll give you one simple example. In 1905, when the movement was started from the region of Bengal, it was previously decided that the movement will just be confined to the region of Bengal. But the movement became quite successful in the region of Bengal. And there were many extremist leaders who believed that the time is ripe that we should take this movement pan-India. We should spread this movement throughout India. And the key role was being played by Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji, Bipin Chandra Pal ji, Chidambaram Pillai ji, and many other leaders. So in 1906, the session was held at Calcutta. And the extremist leaders wanted an extremist leader, either Lala Lajpat Rai ji to preside or Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji to preside. But moderate leaders, they suggested the name of one of the most revered leaders of Indian National Congress, the grand old man of India, Dadabhai Navroji. But at this particular point of time, for the first time, few differences were seen between moderates and extremists. Because in 1906 Calcutta session, 4 resolutions were being passed in favor of extremists. And what were these 4 Calcutta resolutions referred as? Swaraj, Swadeshi, boycott and national education. I repeat, Swaraj, Swadeshi, boycott and national education. Coming back, the movement became quite famous in the region of Bengal. To maintain Hindu-Muslim unity, Rabindranath Tagore ji asked the people to celebrate the festival of Raksha Bandhan, wherein the Hindus and Muslims, basically they tied Rakhis on each other's hands to portray that our unity is quite intact. Correct? Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji played a very pivotal role in spreading this movement in the Bombay Presidency, particularly in the region of Pune and Bombay. In the United Provinces, presently Uttar Pradesh, the movement was not that, initially it was not that successful. But Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji, he conducted a tour in the region of United Provinces. And it actually electrified the masses, particularly the youth. Ajit Singh ji and Lala Lajpat Rai ji played a very crucial role in spreading the movement, particularly in the northern part of India, majorly in the region of Punjab. Sayyid Haider Raza, he played a key role in spreading the movement, particularly in the region of Delhi, Rawalpindi, Lahore, Kangra, which is presently in Himachal Pradesh. Chidambaram Pillai, he played another important role in spreading the movement towards southern part of India, particularly in the Madras Presidency. So, initially, it was decided that the movement will just be confined to the region of Bengal. Now, it has become a pan-India movement. Isn't that so? Bengal, Bombay Presidency, United Provinces, Punjab, Delhi, Madras Presidency. So, the movement has become pan-India. And now, Britishers have become very active. As I have told you last time itself and in today's session itself, at the very start itself, that Britishers will play another important card here. And what is that card? Now, Britishers will try to attract the moderates towards themselves. How? Morley and Minto. Morley at that time was Secretary of State for India. And Minto, he was Viceroy of India. They will throw another card in front of Indian National Congress in the form of Indian Council Act 1909 or Morley-Minto reforms. And what will happen? Moderates overnight will become loyalist. And now Britishers will come up heavily on the extremist leaders. But Swadeshi movement played a very key role, particularly in reviving our rural industry. Like Gujarati speaking districts of Bombay Presidency, they were away from Swadeshi movement. Why? Basically because at this point of time, particularly the region of Gujarat and certain parts of Bengal, they saw the mushrooming up of local industries, particularly cotton industry, jute industry. Apart from this, there was establishment of national schools and colleges. National Council of Education was created on 15th August 1906 as a part of Swadeshi movement. Apart from this, Acharya P.C. Ray's Bengal Chemical Factory, it became quite famous. The songs of Rabindranath Tagore ji played a very major role in sensitizing the masses. Amar Sonar Bangla. Correct? So, the movement spread throughout the northern part of India. So, although the movement was very successful, why did the movement fizzle out? Correct? Obviously, the question arises in the mind of every aspirant. Correct? If the movement was so successful that it started from the region of Bengal, it maintained Hindu-Muslim unity, there were different factions of the Indian National Congress that actively participated in the movement, but why did the movement fizzle out? Because Britishers came up heavily on the Indian nationalist. As I have told you, Indian National Congress was divided on ideological basis into two parts: moderates and extremist. Moderates overnight now became loyalist, and Britishers came up heavily on the extremist. Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji was arrested and he was sent to Mandalay jail for the next 6 years. Bipin Chandra Pal, he retired from the active politics. Aurobindo Ghosh, he retired from the active politics and got settled in the region of Pondicherry, where he established his own ashram at Pondicherry. Apart from this, like shouting of Vande Mataram or raising the slogans of Vande Mataram was completely banned. Lathi charge was done on the people. Students who actively participated in the movement were terminated, and intense action was being taken against the students. Correct? So this became the major cause for what? This became one of the major causes for decline of the Swadeshi movement. But Swadeshi movement was one of the major movements, particularly of the 20th century at that time. Correct? And after this, non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, and Quit India movement led by Mahatma Gandhi played another crucial role in giving the brief, what we say, turn to our Indian history, particularly the modern history. Hope so the points are clear, guys. Yes, see, you're shouting of Vande Mataram, it was completely banned. Press was gagged. In simple words, legal action was taken, particularly against a newspaper that were being run by extremists. If you remember the role of press, guys, we had studied in quite depth and detail. Britishers had come up with two acts, 1908 and 1910. If you remember, guys, Incitement of Offences Act. And basically, those newspapers were being stopped who published something derogatory against the Britishers. And majorly, which newspapers were being targeted? Newspapers that were being run by the extremist leaders were being targeted. Like Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal, they retired from the active politics. Okay. Aurobindo Ghosh, he was imprisoned. Later on, he got settled in the Pondicherry region. So this became one of the major causes for decline of Swadeshi movement. Also, the points are clear, guys. So quite depth and detail it is mentioned. Why did the movement fizzle out? Severe government repression, as we have discussed. Okay. The movement followed different techniques like non-cooperation, passive resistance. But later on, it is believed that there was no major central leadership for the movement. Correct? Major leaders got arrested and so on. So, Swadeshi movement was not only confined to the political and economic sphere, but encompassed art, literature, science and industry also. Correct? Like Nandlal Bose, he took inspiration from the paintings of Ajanta. Here comes in picture the art part. Correct? Like this time also saw the mushrooming up of different like Bengal chemical factory, tanneries and so on. All these were Swadeshi in character. So it encompassed the economic sphere as well. Correct? Literature part and the support was being provided by Rabindranath Tagore ji. As I've told you, he majorly focused on self-reliance and Atma Shakti. So this statement could become a probable question about Swadeshi movement. Correct? Like in the end, they will write one thing. They'll give the statement and they'll write elucidate. So what is the meaning of the word elucidate? Elucidate basically means clarify the statement. So how will you clarify the statement? By explaining the entire process of Swadeshi movement. Hope so the points are clear, guys. Any question, any doubt, any query, please let me know. Yes? Yes, guys. Like many a times, questions can crop up in different manner. Like Revolt of 1857. We had seen Revolt of 1857 in quite depth and detail. But questions could crop up in a different manner. Like for example, there was a statement like Britishers felt that the Revolt of 1857 was a mutiny, not a major war or a battle. Elucidate or clarify. Some of the British historians believe that it was a battle between blacks and white. So doesn't this support or doesn't this propagate the policy of racial discrimination that was being adopted by the Britishers? Again, another question can crop up from here. Correct? So whenever you are studying history, guys, I would suggest you one important thing. Follow the process of SFC. And what is SFC? Your history will become quite interesting. Story, fact and concept, and try to correlate all the three. Automatically, your analytical approach would be brushed up. Isn't that so? Because it becomes quite easier to remember the fact and concept when it is associated with the help of a story. True? So hope you understood the Swadeshi movement, guys. Yes. Any question, Any query, any doubt? Like always, I'll ask 5 questions today again, guys. 5 questions. Just a quick revision of the topics that we have learned previously. My first question. Surendra Sai, he led the revolt of 1857 from which region? Guys, apart from Rani Lakshmi Bai ji, Nana Sahib Peshwa ji, Tatya Tope ji, we had seen different leaders, and I had asked you that please note them down. If you remember? Yes, guys. So Surendra Sai ji, he led the movement from which part of India? Yes, guys, quick. He led the revolt of 1857, particularly from the region of Odisha, Utkal. Second important question. Gajdar Singh, he led the revolt of 1857 from which part of India? Yes. Guys, it is in Uttar Pradesh. I'll give you a small hint. It is in Uttar Pradesh, a very famous district. A district associated with Honorable Chief Minister of UP. Now you can answer, guys. It is Gorakhpur. So Gajdar Singh ji, he led the revolt of 1857, particularly from the region of, yes, from the region of Gorakhpur district of Uttar Pradesh. Third question. Who was the first Governor General to realize Russian threat? Yes, because he signed Indus Navigation Treaty with Maharaja Ranjit Singh to make river Satluj navigable so that they can keep an eye over the activities of Afghanistan and Russia. Yes, guys. Guys, we have studied in quite depth and detail about this. Hence, I always keep on telling, it is better to read one book 10 times rather than reading 10 books. Please keep on revising and brushing up the concepts continuously, because revision in the end will play a very major role. Correct? The answer to this is Lord William Bentinck. Correct? Now, my fourth question. If you remember one of the most important press act, and I was going through one of the, what we say, papers, past year question papers, this question has been asked twice or thrice. Either it be the PSC or the UPSC or different exam, I guess CDS or CAPF. This question has been asked. Which among the following newspaper got converted into English newspaper overnight to escape the Vernacular Press Act 1878? Yes, guys. If you remember, Vernacular Press Act 1878, 4 newspapers at that time, leading newspapers at that time, they had to stop the publications. And one newspaper overnight, it became an English newspaper. Yes? Guys, the answer is Amrit Bazar Patrika. It overnight became an English newspaper. And there were 4 leading newspapers who had to stop their publications. Yes? Any guesses? Yes. Som Prakash, Dakka Prakash, Bharat Mihir and Samachar. Hope so the points are clear, guys. Now let's begin with another important topic. Formation of All India Muslim League 1906. First question. Why were Muslim League now interested in forming, why were the Muslim section now interested in forming another major political party in the form of Muslim League when already there is an existing political party in the country in the form of Indian National Congress? Yes, guys. Some hint or any guesses? Now let's discuss about this. It is believed that the seeds of communalism were later sown by Lord Curzon and the Britishers, but prior to this, the major role was being played by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Syed Ahmad Khan, he is a very famous personality because he has played a very pivotal role, in Mohammedan Renaissance, because he believed that Muslim sections need to get English education for acquiring proper administrative post. Correct? So he played a very key role by establishing Translation Society. He was also involved in Aligarh movement and so on. But there is one important factor that we need to remember, that he followed providential mission theory. What is providential mission theory in simple words? He asked the Muslim section to stay away from the Indian National Congress initially and to remain loyal towards Britishers. In fact, he remained loyal towards Britishers during the revolt of 1857. And for this, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was given the knighthood by the Britishers. In 1885, Indian National Congress was formed. And when in 1885, Indian National Congress was formed, it is believed that Sir Syed Ahmad Khan asked the Muslim section to stay away or aloof from the Indian National Congress. Why? Because Syed Ahmad Khan, he believed in two important aspects. First, if we remain loyal to the Britishers, some or the other day, Britishers are going to repay back us for our loyalty. And if we remain loyal to the Britishers, Britishers will give us money, they will give us grants, they will give us aid for what? Educational development of the Muslim. And second major aspect, why did he ask the Muslim section to stay away from the Congress? Because he believed that Indian National Congress was a party of politically elite Hindus. Hence, he asked initially that you should stay away from Indian National Congress. As discussed yesterday, Indian National Congress was formed on 28 December 1885 at a place called as Gokuldas Tejpal Sanskrit College. And the first session was attended by 72 delegates, presided by Vomesh Chandra Banerjee. Excuse me. The second session, it was held at Calcutta and was presided by the grand old man of India, Dadabhai Navroji. But at this point of time, third session, which was held in 1887 at Madras, it was presided by the first minority president, Badruddin Tayyabji. And with the passage of time, more number of Muslims started getting enrolled in the Indian National Congress sessions, or they started participating in the sessions of Indian National Congress, such as B.M. Saini, A. Bhimji, Mir Musharraf Hussain, Muhammad Ali Khan, and so on. By now, Muhammad Ali Jinnah is not a part of Muslim League. We'll understand when did Muhammad Ali Jinnah become the part of Muslim League. So, more number of leaders started getting associated with Congress. And in fact, during Swadeshi movement, many Muslim leaders took active part in that. They were active participant in the Swadeshi movement, like Abdul Rasul and the leaders that have been portrayed here. Finally, now Britishers had to play another important card. As I have told you, Lord Curzon, how did he poison the minds of the people? He called certain leaders of the Muslim section, particularly Aga Khan, and said, why there is economic development of Hindus? Do you know about this? Because there is development of port in the region of Calcutta. Why there is educational upliftment of Hindus? Because there is establishment of Calcutta University. If you support the partition of Bengal, I promise that in the coming years, we will establish a residential university at Dhaka. Apart from this will lead to what? Educational and economic upliftment of the Muslim section. Apart from this, we are also going to establish one of the most important ports in the region of East Bengal, that is Chittagong Port. Finally, in 1906, this idea now got a new frame. How? Muslim Educational Conference was called at Dhaka, and many leaders of the Muslim society or Muslim section participated in that Muslim Educational Conference, like particularly Nawab Salimullah of Dhaka, Nawab Moshin ul Mulk, Aga Khan. Aga Khan, he became the president of the Muslim Educational Conference, and seeing this as an opportunity, he proposed creation of a political party in parallel to the Indian National Congress, and the proposal was accepted, and this led to formation of All India Muslim League in 1906 at Dhaka, with Aga Khan as its honorary president. It had its headquarters in Lucknow. During the time of Lord Minto, another headquarters was established by Amir Ali in London. So it had two headquarters. The national headquarters, it was in Lucknow, and the international headquarters, it was located in London, under whom? Amir Ali. Correct? So right from the start itself, All India Muslim League remained loyal towards the Britishers. Correct? Like, because they believe that, like Indian National Congress, they also used to hold the sessions every year, discuss the issues concerning the Muslim society, and so on. Finally, in 1911, George V, he annulled the partition of Bengal. He cancelled the partition of Bengal. And now the capital of India was transferred from Calcutta to Delhi. And now there was a different scene that was going on in Europe, because the battleground for the World War I was being created. Correct? Although the World War I was fought in 1914, but the actual scenario has already been set up. How? Because on one side, particularly, on one side there was Hungary, Turkey, Austria, Germany, and on the other side was Britain, France, and Russia. So, particularly, I'll give you a small example. Turkey, the half part of Turkey is in Europe and the half part of Turkey is in Asia. The part which is in Asia, it basically follows Islamic religion. And Turkey was being ruled by Ottoman Emperor, who was also referred as Caliph or Khalifa. Correct? Now, Britain was against Turkey. And during the World War I and at the end of the World War I, I'm going a bit ahead, guys. Okay. After the end of the World War I, what happened? Britishers came up, or like basically these powers came up with a treaty which is referred as Treaty of Versailles and Treaty of Sevres. And harsh terms and conditions were being imposed on these four, particularly more on Germany. On Turkey, basically it is believed that, as I've told you, Turkey was ruled by an Ottoman emperor referred as Caliph. Entire Turkey was being destroyed. Democratic government was being introduced in Turkey. Muslim symbols were being destroyed. This actually hurted the sentiments of the Muslims, particularly in India. Correct? So already the situation has been created. So among the Muslim League, there were certain leaders who were young leaders, such as T.A.K. Sherwani, correct, Muhammad Ali, Shaukat Ali. They believed that what did we gain by maintaining loyalty towards the Britishers? Now the time is ripe that we have to change our slavish mentality and start supporting Indian National Congress. Aga Khan, at this particular point of time, he got a bit angry and he resigned as a president from the Muslim League. Now enters another person into the All India Muslim League, whose name was Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Now, within the Muslim League, the leaders like T.A.K. Sherwani, Muhammad Ali, Shaukat Ali, who felt that we need to change our slavish mentality, these people are referred as young-minded people or young party. So, young party leaders now invited Muhammad Ali Jinnah to take over the lead of the All India Muslim League. From 1913-1914 onwards, the Muslim League was being led by whom? Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah is also referred as Muslim Gokhale. Please answer in the comment section, who gave the title of Muslim Gokhale to Muhammad Ali Jinnah? Correct, guys? So what was one of the major, one of the major achievements of the All India Muslim League? One of the major achievements of All India Muslim League was attaining separate electorate for the Muslim as per Morley-Minto reforms 1909. As I've told you, Morley was Secretary of State for India at that time and Minto was Viceroy of India. Correct? We are going to see in quite depth and detail about the Morley-Minto reform. So don't worry about this. Hope so. Swadeshi movement and All India Muslim League is clear, guys. Any question, any query, any doubt, please feel free to ask. Those students or those aspirants who have certain doubts who could not ask here, they can ask me the doubt on the Telegram channel history_Alok Ocha. Apart from this, you can also download the PDF of the session from the Telegram channel. That is, I'll note it down here. History_Alok Ocha. Okay. Please also do watch the videos of ancient India wherein I have tried and covered prehistoric culture, Indus Valley civilization, Vedic civilization, Mahajanpad, modern empire, Buddhism, Jainism, Sangam age, Guptas and so on. So please also do have a look at the ancient India part. Those aspirants who are new to the platform can watch my previous videos of the modern Indian history series. Now, let me tell you about one of the most important batches that is going to start on 24th of March 2025, Sampurna batch. And the batch would be at 8 a.m. early in the morning. So, what are the key factors associated with Sampurna batch? Prelims and the Mains Residential Program. Apart from this, rupees 11,000 reward to monthly top performers. Full refund of the fees once you qualify your prelims. A very beautiful part of this Sampurna batch, and interview guidance program. So how to avail the benefits or how to enroll into the Sampurna batch? You can enroll by using my code Alok Live. I repeat, you can enroll by using the code Alok Live. Guys, hope so you understood the Swadeshi movement. Hope so you understood All India Muslim League. Hope so the session was interesting. Correct? So with this, I stop my